Right.
Okay, so I got it up now. I got it up. Hey, everybody out there on Facebook Live, if you're out there, we've got on the calendar for some reason, we have 12 Direct.
Yeah, I wondered what that was.
But we had that class in January.
Yeah, so this is a surprise?
So I was going to shake it up and do something different. Do we have votes in favor of something different? Or, yeah? Because there is the 12 Direct one you can go watch on the YouTube channel. Jacqueline, are you familiar with the YouTube channel? No. Okay. It is KWMC 765. And that all has a meaning. It's Keller Williams Market Center 765, and that's our Market Center number. So if you guys want to see a 12 Direct video, I don't know that there's a whole lot of point in me doing it again. Go watch that one.
Can we do anything that might help us prep for the command? Anything that you brought back from New Orleans, maybe?
Yes, I am not ready for that yet today.
Okay.
If we did it, it would seem like I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh.
There's a reason. I don't know what I'm doing. So we're going to the Market Center. We're going to have a series of classes. All of us leadership have assignments of what we need to learn and be an expert on. And then we'll go back through it and teach each one. We're going to also have workshops where you guys bring in your laptops and we're walking around the room with you working on it together. That's the plan there. What I would like to do today, with all of your permission, is go over the slideshow that he had on the vision speech. Did you guys watch the vision speech? No. So, briefly? Yeah. Being new, the information in there won't have the same context, but I'm going to give you the context that you wouldn't have felt if you just reviewed it yourself. And we can talk about what it means. Whereas if you can go back and watch the vision speech. If you do that, though, you'll just be listening and listening to Gary rather than us having that dialogue. So I'm going to open it up, view, full screen mode. I did this yesterday in Glenwood, but I didn't record it. So not everybody out of the Glenwood and Montrose offices got to see it. You can't see it at all, Kim? There's a little bit of a delay. Okay, so vision speech 2019. So there's a lot of numbers in here, which I love numbers. I really like to geek out on them. Kim, I have it up on my phone and I see the screen, so maybe try refreshing it. All right, home sales. Home sales declined 3% in 2018 as a result of low inventory levels and higher mortgage rates. So you'll see over here on this side, in 2018, there were 5.3 million homes sold nationwide. These are all nationwide numbers. And what we see historically is that Grand Junction has a little bit of a lag behind the nation. That deal. Let's go. Yeah. We have a little bit of a lag behind the country on what the economy is doing. And then the other markets like our Glenwood market and our Montrose market have an even bigger lag. Things take a little longer to get to the more rural areas. So you'll see a decline in the number of homes sold there. And mortgage rates influence that because when mortgage rates go up, it costs more to buy a house. Home sales monthly. You'll see how they broke out per month. And what's interesting about this is you would think that there would just be a change in the pattern. Like all of these If that was there, then this one's here. If that one's there, then this one's here. If that one's there, this one's here. But over at the end of the year, they really dove down.
And that's year over year?
That's month over month, 17 to 18.
Okay.
Oh, I need to hide. Yeah, I'm going to hide this bit here.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, you see 17 and 18 down there. Home prices. This is a graph that talks about what the economy was doing, what the home market was doing through 89. And you'll see up here into 2002 and 3, that's when it started heating up. And around 06, 07 was really boiling. And then we had the crisis. And 08, it dropped down. Now, in Grand Junction, 08 was still a fantastic year, breaking records, because we still had a lot of natural gas drilling happening. And that was still causing growth. So when the country was down, we weren't. What that led to is a lot of people here thinking that we were going to be immune. And that turned out not to be the case. So 2009 and 10, our recovery was a little later here in the valley. 2009 was nasty in the valley here. 2010, even 11 and 12 were not fantastic. But what happened is this yellow curve here is what a steady growth in the market would have been. Jacqueline, can you scoot over or up? Because I keep trying to also talk to you and make eye contact, but I got to move around, Nikki.
No, don't worry about it.
Come on up here. So what you'll see here is where the market would have been. The market would have been up here along this line, but it totally went down, and we probably won't ever get back to that line and that trajectory again. We're creating a new line and a new trajectory here. Home price, this breaks it into different eras and what home prices and appreciation were doing. You'll see here this big era, this one's nasty, 06 to 11. This is when home prices were going down. And we're back over here. We're looking at 16 and 18 where we are. You see 4.4%, 5.7%, 5% for 18. The important thing to remember here, even if the appreciation rate is going down, it's still appreciation. Month supply of inventory. So when we talk about how much inventory there is, we look at the amount of time it would take to consume that inventory. So if there's 40 houses on the market and 10 sell every month, we just do 40 divided by 10, and we wind up saying we have a 4-month inventory. If these were the only houses, because current inventory is an instantaneous thing, if these are the houses and no other houses came on the market, it would take 4 months for us to sell all of these. It's a point in time, though, because we know new houses are going to come on the market. And so that changes. But we don't know how many are going to come on the market. So that yellow line there is a balanced market, and it's a 6-month inventory. If we are below that line, we call it a seller's market. Now, remember, this line is just a line. Really, it's a range, like 5 to 7, kind of balanced. 5.5 to 6.5 is balanced. So that doesn't mean 5.9 is a seller's market. That's really close to a balanced market there. We're in a 4-month inventory nationwide in 2018. Now, the other thing to remember on these numbers is I said, hey, Kevin, I said 40 houses, 10 a month. That's 4-month inventory. What if there were 4 houses and 1 sold every month? That's a 4-month inventory. But that's not a good market because the only reason the inventory is low, or it's still a seller's market, is because the inventory is low, but the demand is even less. So it is an indicator of what the market's doing. Right now, we've got low inventory, and that's why it still shows as a seller's market. The buyers have tapered off a little bit too. Mortgage rates. This is what they've done. This is back in the 80s, and you can always find some older agent who can tell you about the horror stories. Well, we still sold real estate when interest rates were 12%. Okay. It's not easy. It's not nice. Nobody wants to do it. 4.5 is where we are. You know, I bought my first house in 2001. And as I recall, we got 6.25 for our interest rate, which was awesome. We were like, yes, 6.25. Sweet. When was that, Jacqueline? In 96? So you were in here in that 7 range. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're at 4.5, and that's higher than we've seen since, 2012 and 13. But it's still so low. 4.5 is still crazy low. Yeah, yeah. But this is what it's done. Let's see. Mortgage rates monthly. This is from 2011 to 12, and you see it's, this looks like a crazy wild ride, but we are talking about 4.8 down to 3.4 and 4.9. So really in that 8-year period, we see a fluctuation of 1.5% total. Yeah, not crazy. Things have been good to us in the mortgage rate. Now, affordability. This one looks at what it costs to own a home compared to what people are actually earning. So if home prices go up and wages don't go up, affordability goes down. If home prices stay the same and wages go up, affordability goes up. We're in a pretty decent spot right here on affordability. Not as good, well, actually better than we were in the past decade. Wages were great in 2006. Yeah. And so here's the thing. We've got 3.9% unemployment right now, which means that anybody who wants a job can get a job. And what that's going to probably start doing is increasing wages. People are going to have to pay more, and that will result in a little bit more inflation.
So like in 2006, 2008, were the wages higher or were the cost of the houses lower? Like was the wage?
The wages, houses were going up in price,
Okay.
but wages were outpacing it.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. Numbers that drive the Canadian. Anybody care about, raise your hand if you care about that. No, I don't care about the rate. We're not going to go over Canadian numbers. They've had some good times up there, but they also have controlled a lot with their mortgage rates. All right, the U.S. economy. Gross domestic product. That is, for the most part, all of the things that are sold in the U.S. Sometimes the number excludes things. Sometimes they don't put oil in there. So you'll see here that our economy has had growth between 2011 to now 1.6 to 3%. And that's actually really good, healthy economic growth numbers. It means that inflation's not getting too out of control. The Fed last year, the Fed said, it finally published that they have the magic number of 2.5% inflation. Everybody kind of suspected that they had a magic number that they wanted to see, and they actually published it last year. So what you see, though, is if the economy is growing at 3% and home prices are growing at 5%, and they continue to grow at 5%, they will outpace the economy, which is good as an investment, but decreases the affordability because wages often grow with the economy. Let's see. Unemployment. We're at 3.9% at the end of 2018. Isn't that crazy? So low. So low. And all the way up to 9.6% there after the bust. You'll also see this in 82. We had a recession in 82. And we had a recession in 86, I think it was. Yeah, somewhere around there. We had two recessions in the 80s. What's that? Yeah. You were working in 86?
I was working in 82.
In 82. Yeah, well, so was 90% of the economy. Income. So this shows what income has done, obviously. And you see here that income has not been growing that much. 2% in 2017, 16, saw 3%. Yeah. And so that is an issue. I suspect, though, with 3.9% unemployment, we'll see income rates going up. Inflation has stayed fairly steady in the past since the economic crisis, fairly steady. The CPI, the Consumer Price Index of what it actually costs to live, has fluctuated a fair amount, but not crazily. We'll skip this Canadian bit. Okay, sites per agent. This is about real estate now. So we're looking at this. You see that historical average of 10.2 for sites per agent. That's a year. 10.2 sites per agent a year. This brings me to a question of who wants their fair share of the real estate market? Okay, sure. Sites per agent. If you have, on any transaction, there's two sides. There's a buyer side and a seller side. And if you double end it, you have two sides. Yeah. So this looks at how many transactions by representing a buyer or representing a seller your typical agent has. And your typical agent, say it again? 10.2. 10.2.
That seems low.
Yeah. That's why I asked, do you want your fair share? No. No, you do not want your fair share. The reason it is that low is because there's people who do this part-time. There's people who don't do any. If you, I look at the numbers closely in our MLS in Glenwood, and we have 223 agents, and we have about 50 who do 0 deals a year. And we have, another 20 to 30 that do 1 deal a year. And so they take that average down quite a bit. But we can look at these numbers from the standpoint of not what it means for you, but what it means relatively for you. So if you look at 2008, you see 6.9 deals per agent. 2007 is probably just a little over, maybe it's at 7, maybe just a little over 7.5. Really low. That's one of the lowest ever. Does anybody have any idea why? The market was awesome. Everybody was buying houses. Why was it so low?
A lot of owner carries or cash because they were foreclosures.
Well, not in 2007. There were so many dang agents. There were tons of agents. And they got out of the business. And we all started getting more per agent then, We lost a lot of agents. We could lost a couple 100,000 agents in 2008. Yeah, things crashed. Everybody got out of the business. So you see that number in 2012 is the highest in our, or what is that, 2013, the highest in our recent market at 9.8, and it's been steadily going down. The reason it's been going down is because of you three sitting in this room. You're taking deals from older people like me. That's good.
Yes.
That's good for you. Take them. Hi, Trish.
Hey.
So, yeah, we'll see that number probably keep going down if things stay good.
How about Zillow?
Zillow is not taking the transactions. Zillow is taking the leads and selling them to the agents. It might go down if Zillow starts listing on their own.
What they're preparing to do.
Right. And if those agents are not members of NAR. I suspect they will be. Zillow will probably have those agents as members of NAR to, keep that.
Don't they need to for compliance?
No. So about 3/4 of the licensees in Colorado are realtors. The state says you have the education you need to represent buyers or sellers in a transaction. Here's your license. Then we have this trade organization that's the National Association of Realtors, Colorado Association of Realtors, Grand Junction Realtor Association, and Grand Junction Area Realtor Association. And we all get together and say, well, it's important for us to operate under these rules, the code of ethics. And we all agree to be ethical and cooperate with each other. You don't have to be a realtor to have a real estate license.
Right.
And so Zillow may say, yeah, we're not going to require our agents to be realtors. They can just be licensees. I don't think they're going to do that because they'll want that name behind them, unless there's some conflict between National Association of Realtors. That's all just speculation there. I don't know. Distressed sales, 2008, super high. Purple is short sales, and orange is foreclosures. So 27 plus 13 is 40. That's 40% of the market in 2008 was some sort of distressed sale. 2009 starts to decrease. I'll tell you this though, 2008, I did have a couple bank owns. I was already starting to do bank owns. 2009, that was mostly all I did. 2011 through 13, almost 100% of what I did. And in this period, 2009 and 10, I remember the numbers being about, for sales, not what was on the market, but for sales, 1/3 were bank owned, 1/3 were short sales, and 1/3 were fair market in Grand Junction.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
right? However, and this sucked back then for everybody, something like 2/3 or a half of the listings were fair market. And only 1/4 of the listings were distressed
No, what was that? What year was that?
during this same period.
Same period.
So active listings, mostly fair market. A little bit bank owned and short sale. But the closings were like 2/3 distressed. So it was inverted, and people were just sitting with their house on the market because they were competing against all the short sales and the bank owns. And now look where we are here. December 2018, nationwide, 1% foreclosures. Short sale doesn't even really show up there. That's because the values have come back enough that most people don't need to do a short sale. And that's a huge drop, really, as a percentage from 17 to 18. Bank owned is almost all gone. Underwater homes. See that number going down. they're calling 6% as the trend line here. And you see in 2010 and 11, right? Yeah. So there's two ways that this 25% has gone away. Anybody want to take a guess at what they could be?
They've decided to rent or they sold.
Yeah, if they were renting, they were still underwater. But maybe they sold and did a short sale or let it go back to the bank. They no longer own the home. Now the loan to value is reset because a new person bought it and there's a new loan. Or they stayed with it and values caught up to what they owe. And that's why these numbers are so low, really. Is because values have caught up. Okay, mortgage rates and 10-year treasury notes.
Oh,
Just-
I love these statistics.
Isn't this fun?
Yeah. You know what? I almost sent you an email and said, Travis, we need to do a statistics class so that we know.
Oh,
exactly-
Oh yeah. Well, this is national. This is the vision speech.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right
I
on.
was just going to send you an email last week. I thought I was too damn busy over there.
No, this is what we needed to do. So, okay, so you see the T-bill and mortgage rates. They just so closely track each other historically.
Why is that?
I think, I don't know. I've never gotten a good answer on that. I've asked, but I've never gotten an answer that I felt was a legitimate answer. So, yeah. Will you find out?
It's like one of those things.
Don't test me. I mean, I can
Really?
really go in there and
Do it.
I could dig if you want.
Dig, please. Because I think, I trust that you're a person who, when they give an answer, would be a good answer.
Well, I don't know.
You won't give an answer if it's
I
not.
wouldn't give an answer.
You won't give an answer if it's not. Yeah.
Right.
Do you guys want the lights off, by the way? Are you happy with?
That's fine.
Okay, it's up to you.
Is everybody all right? Do you need
Okay.
lights up? We're okay?
Okay. So just because this red was kind of hard to see. This, I don't know where they got, what criteria they're using to measure these. So just,
This is what concerns me.
yeah, right? So just kind of trust in the general graph, I guess. Money is easier than it was back before the bust.
It sounds like to me, and what it looks like to me, is that they're doing kind of the same thing they did before.
Yeah, there's a lot of,
Only they're cloaking it in different kinds of
Yeah,
stuff.
oh, yeah.
Oh, there's this loan, there's this
Yep.
loan. We can do this, we
Yep.
can do this. And you're looking at these people who are these lenders, and you're going, hey,
yeah.
I'm not sure that's gonna work so well.
I've got a deal closing in 2 months or 2 weeks that has $500 earnest money. She's getting her $500 earnest money back at the table.
Yeah, that concerns me.
Yeah, she won't have anything in. And what that leads to is those underwater numbers. If there's any kind of little dip, those
That's what
underwater
I've
numbers
been-
come back up.
I've been listening to these lenders.
Hmm.
they're,
And when
"Oh,
they
we got
start-
all these programs, and isn't this fabulous, we can do everything, and I'm going, yeah, buddy, how's that gonna look in a couple of years?
They start talking about the ARM.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what an ARM is, by the way? You do. Adjustable rate mortgage. And
Yeah.
the risk there is not in the adjustment, because the adjustment is limited and it does go up. The risk is that in 5 years, they maybe need to sell and they can't because they're underwater. That's the risk. Don't let me scare you. Okay? We're just looking at numbers.
We saved that for Connie.
Yeah, Connie. Let Connie scare you. Oh my God. You're like, why did I get a real estate license? Okay. New home construction. You'll see new home construction numbers gradually increasing. But boom, 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 boom. The economy is growing. Things are getting back, from 2009. They were still building new houses in 2009. What you see here, though, these increases are kind of are are kind of safe and historical. You look here at 2007 with 1,000 new ones being built. That was a problem because, I mean, our population wasn't even that big. And what happened was there was a lot of speculation. They were building houses that there weren't people to buy. But everybody thought, well, it's always going to go up. Who has seen The Big Short? Saw The Big Short, Big Short? Yeah.
3 times.
It was a good, yeah, right? 3 times, because you're like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, no, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I saw it at the theater, and then I went home and watched it again, and then about 2 days later, I watched it again.
Yeah,
I keep watching it every so often just to remind myself. That's why I'm getting nervous about
yeah,
all these guys.
the
that
creative
get in
things.
here,
Yep.
and they're going, hey, yes, Miss Fabulous, we'll get them
Yep.
qualified.
And-
Going, okay, well, listen, I don't know if these people are gonna be able to, deal with your weird ass shit, forgive me, We're
Yeah.
not on Facebook Live, are we?
We are,
Yeah.
always, Trish.
No, not really.
I mean, always, Joan,
Are we really?
Samantha. I'm wearing a microphone.
And now we know it's real.
So here's the thing.
Said that.
Here's the thing, though, too.
Sherry, do you really believe that you watched The Big Short?
Uh,
These guys are doing that?
On that note,
Your voice, no.
the back in the day, though, the mortgage lenders were not licensed. Anybody who had a business card could be a lender. So, all right. So, the other point I want. If you maybe didn't like, but Trish, if The Big Short did it for you, the very early days, 10 years ago, of Planet Money, the podcast, Planet Money was created to explain all of the different mortgage products and the economic crisis. And they really, for like 6 months, they reported on it. Deep, deep shows, Planet Money. So if you want to go nerd out on that, go for it. All right. New home sales. New home sales increased. We've got the blue line is 300,000. Stayed kind of flat or under 300. Not a lot of new homes nationwide being built under 300. And of course, prices are going up. So, the line represents prices going up also. The increase in over $400,000 houses, new homes, is indicative of the type of house, but also what houses are worth. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm getting some nods, so I'm going to move on. Home ownership. This one, I was kind of surprised by this. In 2009, the percentage of people owning a home was 66.9%, 67%. And that number has been going down. Even with the recovery, it's been going down. There's fewer people buying a home.
I wonder if this correlates with the credit score.
Well,
Do you think?
it might but the credit was easier to get money. They say that this is because of millennials. They're buying homes later.
I had a lender
They
mention
are.
that the other day.
Because they're living with their parents while they're 30.
They're living with their parents early, or here's a funny thing about home ownership is it does make people less mobile. It's not as easy to bop around from one city to another, taking this job and that job, and
Well, it's also,
you're being recorded, Trish.
I keep saying my name. So the thing that is also happening is you've got a global crisis in disparities of income.
Mm,
And it is global. It is
Yeah.
not just here. It is millennials. They're not interested in owning. Not because they can't make those mortgage payments, but because they don't want a giant house. It's too much to take care of.
right.
And the other thing too is we're also seeing such terrible, terrible disparity of income and growing poverty just because of our human numbers.
Yeah,
Numbers
Of the
humanity
number of humans.
who are just
Yeah.
taking over, and there is literally nowhere for them to live. and there are no jobs. And you're looking at the US as beginning to fall into that category.
We have 3.9% unemployment right now.
Now, I know that.
Yeah, we're running out of workers.
Yes, I know that. But the workers also that we do have, a lot of that is because we've got immigration policies that aren't letting international workers in here who are willing to work for $10 an hour. And also the millennial group, you can't afford to work for $10 an hour.
No,
You cannot afford, in the US, you cannot afford to take jobs that are low income. You just can't do it because there's no housing.
right.
Hawaii has one of the largest poverty rates in the US is in Hawaii. And
Because their housing is so high.
$35.
Yeah.
I just moved from Hawaii.
You just moved there, yeah.
And when I was,
Where
from
were
my
you?
lanai.
What, oh, you're
I
on the
can-
line?
No, from my lanai.
Oh, from
my-
my,
I can see tents
Tents,
everywhere.
homelessness.
Walking, I walk
Yeah.
past, on my way to work, I would walk past
where do I live, where you
200
want?
tents.
Oh, well, I was,
So- Yeah, go ahead, Nikki.
I was speaking with someone the other day and they said that because of all the technology, everything's online and you can work remotely, that a lot of the millennials, like you said before, just don't need to plant their roots. They can
Yeah.
travel and work at the same time.
Yeah,
And then he also brought up a point that millennials, back when the crash happened, that's all they heard about.
Yeah.
On the news, and their parents
It's
were talking about
deep
it
in their
as
DNA.
kids. So
Yeah.
it's just like terrifying as millennials to get yourself in a situation
To
where.
own something.
I think they will.
So it's like,
They're just going to do it later.
yeah,
Where many of us bought our first home in our 20s, they're going to do it in their 30s.
All my children just bought homes.
Yeah, my
And how old are they?
sister bring it to Desert Bend and said,
What?
Late 20.
Late 20s, early 30s.
30.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, tiny homes are really
an
where they're at.
adventure van.
Okay, so student loan debt, obviously another part of that. That's another part. Student loan debt higher than it ever has been. It costs more than ever to go to school. And if you still have those student loans, it cuts into what payment you can make, but also whether you qualify. Okay, luxury. Luxury. The world's wealth. All right, take it easy, Trish. Hold her back, Sherry.
I just read about this the other day.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this defines high net worth individuals. I should say it abbreviates high net worth individuals as HNWI, but it does not define what a high net worth individual is. And what you'll see is there is an increase in them worldwide and in America. We don't have the numbers on it right here, but it seems that probably also corresponds with the poverty rates too. So the narrative that I've heard is income disparity, bigger separation between the wealthy and those in poverty. You want to go? I'll give you. What do you want? 60 seconds? 90 seconds? 10 seconds? Okay.
Bloomberg. I read about it the other day. There are something like 79 billionaires own more, are wealthier than 65% of
The population.
GDP of most countries.
79. There are 79 billionaires that have a higher net worth than 69
Something like that.
different
So
countries.
it's just right.
Yeah, they are more powerful and wealthy than a country is. Gotcha. Yeah. Allocation of financial investments globally. This one shocked me. Real estate is down. It says 14% in 2017 of the world's wealth is in real estate, down from 24%. Why is that? I don't have the answer here. Well, I guess actually, if you look at this, cash, people are holding it in cash more, which is crazy. It's counterintuitive.
Then there's
Bitcoin, yeah, they could probably count that in here. Okay, month supply of inventory. We see that it has been steadily going down since 2009. We see that the luxury market is higher inventory. It takes longer to sell those. There are fewer buyers for them. That's intuitive. The move-up buyer, yeah, that makes sense in the starter home. The most rare, hard to get at the bottom of that triangle. If you look at, most people buying are in the starter home, and then you got that next stratus, and then the luxury market. Buyer's market in the luxury market seems always has been for the past 10 years. Still a seller's market for the other categories. Days on market has been going down for everything for the most part. That starter market still down there so much. The question can be asked then, why don't the builders build more starter homes?
Why don't they build smaller homes that are part of the demand?
Right. And
Why aren't they doing that?
and the answer largely is the same of why is Ford not going to make the Fiesta and the Focus anymore? They make more money on a pickup truck. Builders make more money on a bigger house. Yeah.
Even though the time on the market, they're still making more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't care.
Makes sense.
If you know somebody who maybe is ready to build something, do a development, this sort of graph might help them. If we were able to build something and sell it for 200, it might get snapped up.
You could do a tiny home, which we have huge demand for.
You got more-
Smaller homes.
You got mortgage issue. I mean, are you talking about a tiny home that is on a trailer, or are you talking about just a small home?
Just small homes.
Yeah.
We don't have them.
No? Okay. Let's see. Where were we? Commercial. We don't do commercial a lot, but we'll look at these numbers just because. Businesses in the United States added a net 2.7 million jobs. Doesn't say what kind of jobs those are. Being a greeter at Walmart is a job. Vacancy rates. Vacancy rates, this is all, so
Is
this,
this the rental market?
yeah, vacancies for rentals. The office space is actually kind of high right now, higher than it has been for a while. The apartment vacancy rate is at kind of a low here, and industrial holding strong, retail going up. Why would retail be going up? Because nobody goes to a store anymore?
Amazon, everybody shops on Amazon.
Huh. Loan delinquency rates. This is commercial though. Okay, this is on commercial loans. Look at that number. Commercial delinquency. Super low. These slides, I'll just take a little time to talk about them. These slides are about what our industry is going towards, and industry as a whole. Amazon owns its whole platform.
Right.
It didn't use some website technology to create Amazon. Facebook owns its platform. Google owns its platform. They're not using other people's technology, they're using their own. Keller Williams is moving towards using their own platform rather than the other tools that we use are added onto there. So this is a weird cycle that happens, and Amazon, Facebook, Google are all in this cycle right now. So the more data they have, the more insights they can have, which means they bring the user more value, which is why we all use it, which brings a larger network. More people use it because there's more value to the user. The more people get into the network, the more data they have. Goes around in a circle there, just like that. That's why we use Amazon. We're sitting there on the couch and we're like, oh my gosh, you're right. I didn't realize I needed that. Yes, send it to me. And now they know more about us. And so they can tailor our Amazon for us. If we all pulled out our phones and opened up the Amazon app, almost guarantee all 5 of us would see a different Amazon. If we all pulled up our Netflix, we'd all see different movies and shows. You know, I overheard what Nikki's into. And mine would be very different. You know, dogs, murder docs. Yeah, right. Mine would be either, I don't know what mine would be. I don't know how to characterize what I've been watching. Anyhow, this is what we're doing with Kelly and Command right now. The more of us there are using the system, the more insights there will be, and it'll bring us and our clients more value. And it will spiral up into a very big thing so that people want it. That's what Zillow did. Zillow was just a little thing at one point. This talks about the adoption, getting connected, AI, looking at everything. My YouTube, I'll tell you what my YouTube is. That I can easily characterize. It's either nerd engineering clips, it's car clips, about cars, or some mountain biking stuff. That's almost all my YouTube. And it looks different than yours or anybody else's. And that is the AI working to look at it. We have the ability now, we just haven't been using it, with Command to make landing pages specific to one person. So instead of them going to your webpage and seeing what you wanted them to see and then they do a search, they will have their own page that you send them to. And they will see only things that are pertinent to them. And what they click on, they may say they want a townhome, in Fruta, but all they're clicking on is old houses in downtown Grand Junction. You know what the system will start to say. Yeah, we know what you really want. Come on, this is what you should buy. Currently, we and most other companies have all these different tools coming at you. You guys are probably all sick of the spreadsheets I have for you. All the different tools. It's going to all get integrated into one platform with Command. I'm going to skip a lot of these because I want to get back to the numbers, and there's a lot of promise in there, and we're going to deliver in a couple weeks.
Weeks? That's all?
Yeah, we're going to start having our classes in March. Yeah, we're all breaking out what we are to be, us leadership, are to be an expert on. And we will start having classes. They'll be online so you can watch them too. And we'll hold workshops so that you can bring your laptop in, and we can look over your shoulder and start doing it with you. Yeah. Okay. Global real estate funding. Oh, tech funding. This is how much money's been getting pumped into real estate technology. Yeah, it's big. And we're in there. We're about, they've spent $1 billion on this system. Yeah. And funding for the consumer. Funding for the consumer. So you'll see this over here is what was spent, has been spent on search engines for people to search. This is what's been spent on brokerages. This is what's been spent on iBuyer. And that is using the internet to sell houses without agents. This is what mortgage, ancillary, agent tools, etc. National, okay, these are good numbers. I love these numbers in here. Got 5 minutes. How are you guys on time? You got time?
Go for it.
Okay. So, first-time home buyers, down. 33% of home buyers are first-time buyers. In 2010, it was up at 50. 40 is the trend line. Primary reasons for purchasing a home. Okay, I really love these numbers here. This one did make me laugh. Are you laughing at what the number one?
No, I'm looking at the numbers.
Well, how about what the number one reason you want a home is? You wanted a home. Because you want one. Okay. I don't, that one makes me laugh. These numbers all come from NAR, by the way. So, this desire for a bigger home or relocating or a change in the family situation. Those are the top three. This one's just silly to me. Tenure in a previous home. How long they lived in the home. If you look at the bottom numbers here, in 2008, people lived in their home 6 years, 9, 10, 9, 10, 10. That is an increase in how long people are living in their homes.
Should be a decrease. No, they can't afford to move.
Oh, that's it. They can't afford to move. They couldn't afford to sell their house. They were underwater. So they stayed. Buyers' expected tenure. This one's interesting. How long do you plan on living in your current home? The median down there at the bottom, oh, we plan to live here 15 years. Oh, we plan to live here 12. But how long did they live there? People move before they think they're going to move. Oh, we'll be here forever. No, something changes and they move. Weeks in home search. This is how long they were looking for their house. 10 weeks has been about the average, 2.5 months. First step in the buying process. First thing most people do for a long time now is look online. They look online. Then the second thing they do is they contact a real estate agent. Well, this is the second most common first practice. Most of the time when you talk to someone, they will have already looked at houses online. They will already have a very good idea of what the market is before they talk to you. And that goes to one of the classes we're going to have in March. Know your value proposition. What do you bring? If they already know about the houses, what do you bring? They looked online for information about the home buying process, or they contacted a mortgage broker. Not many have contacted a mortgage broker prior to contacting you.
Yeah, those open houses are pretty low numbers.
Yeah, so visited an open house, 3%, up to 4%. Those are low numbers. Not to discourage you from doing an open house, though, because that could be the frosting on your cake. If you need $80,000 a year to live, and 80,000 means you don't have anything extra, and then you get another 4%. Nice, that's the extra money. Information sources buyers use. Online website. Of course, that's the biggest. But look at us, real estate agent. We're way high on that. Open house, yeah, lower, lower, lower. You get down, look where print newspaper advertising is. It was 53% in 2004. 14 years later, only 13% use newspaper or print advertising. Right? I didn't know we had still had newspapers. Okay, why would someone not want to use the newspaper to find their home? You can't filter. You can't filter. There's one picture, and you have to look at everything to see if it relates to you.
You can't get up-to-date
Yeah.
contract and you get, you finally look at your paper 3 days later. And
Yeah.
it's already gone.
And those glossies are a month old. Yeah.
So that tells you about real advertising dollars.
We're going to look at that even more too. Yeah, of where to spend your money. Yeah. Where buyers found the home they purchased, okay? Not just, this is where they got information. This is where the one house they bought, where did it come from? Internet has been steadily going up from 11% to 50%. The real estate agent has been steadily going down. Again, your value proposition. Know what it is. Because increasingly, you are not finding the house for them. Increasingly, they're finding the house on their own on the internet.
So listings,
They're finding the listing.
no.
Oh,
So as agent,
but as working for the buyer, what value do you bring the buyer?
Yeah, I found my last house by myself and then called it, here's the house I'm buying.
And call the listing agent?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do have a value. We're going to do a whole class on knowing what value you bring to the transaction, aside from, hey, here's this house. Hey, here's this house. We do have a value. Also, that 50%, the fact that that's going up means listings are more important than ever because they're calling who's on the sign or who has the listing. Down here, print newspaper. Did you find the house you bought in print newspaper? 1% for like the past 6 years. You found it in a glossy home book? Doesn't even register anymore. Don't spend your money on those. Buyers don't find houses through them. Take this to your sellers if they're pushing you on it. You can get this on KW Connect. The value of website features, these are fairly self-explanatory. Detailed property info. Yep, that's important. Orange is very useful. Purple is somewhat useful. Property photos. Yep. This slide is kind of a, well, yeah, duh. But it's good to know. Yeah, that really is what they're saying. Our intuition is correct. This one's kind of surprising is they want to know what's sold. They're really savvy buyers out there. Neighborhood info, floor plans. Information about open houses, not so much. Videos, surprisingly low on what they feel is useful. Method of home purchase. Did they use an agent? Did they buy it from a builder? Did they buy it from the seller? Previous owner would be for sale by owner. And we're sticking in there pretty high. 87%, 88, 90. So most things still go through us. Less than it used to. I mean, more than it used to, rather. Sorry, more than it used to. Laura? Hi, Laura. What are you doing here?
I know, it's been forever, huh?
I love it.
Well, here I am.
Okay, buyer representation agreement. A buyer agency agreement, exclusive right to buy. Did you have one? Those numbers are kind of steady, but it's not the trend that's shocking here. It's that only 2 out of 5 signed one. Yes, an oral agreement. Doesn't exist, by the way. An oral agreement doesn't exist. Not in Colorado. Don't know. I don't know if I signed something or not. I mean, that's legitimate. They signed so many things, they don't know if they did or not. What buyers want most from their agent? Help finding the right home to purchase. Okay, so these are questions, these are surveys. Funny thing is that's the most important thing, yet 50% find it online. 52% want that from their agent. Maybe you could also say helping to determine if it is the right house. Negotiation's important for them. These really ought to be the same. It's funny, help negotiating sale terms and help with price negotiation. Sale terms are more important than price negotiation, but I bet if you asked most buyers what the terms of the agreement are, they're going to go straight to price. And then you ask, what other terms did you negotiate? They may not be able to define any. We'll see. I don't know. Let's see. How buyers found their agent. This one's really important for you. The others were about how they found the house. This is about how they found their agent. Referred by a friend, neighbor, or relative. Look at that.
And it stayed pretty consistent.
Pretty consistent. Pretty consistent. Used agent previously to buy or sell a home. 11, 9, 10, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. You add those two up, it's 53%. Yeah. 53% of buyers found it that way. What word do we use to define these two categories? It starts with an S. Sphere. This is your sphere. That's why we tell you to start with your sphere. They love you already. They know you, they love you, they trust you. If your sphere doesn't trust you, we need to talk, by the way. Yeah. What would you say, Sherry?
I haven't even started with home sphere yet.
Get to your sphere. Get to your sphere. How come you haven't? No, that's another conversation. That's another conversation. We'll talk about that later. Okay. Website. But so we were dogging on open houses, right? Did the buyer find their house through an open house? No, was the answer. No. I mean, very few found their house through an open house. But look, did they find their agent through an open house?
5%.
It is some, and it's the fourth highest here. So don't give up on open houses. Referred from another real estate agent outside the market. That's a big one. Hey, I found mine through the newspaper. No. Nobody finds you through the newspaper anymore. Nobody finds their house. Nobody finds their realtor. This one surprised me. Now, remember though, we're talking about buyers. Do you typically do direct mail to buyers or sellers? We'll see the seller numbers up here soon. Okay, buyer interviews. How many agents did they talk to? Most have interviewed one. Some may have interviewed two. If you get to be the first one in front of them, you usually win. You usually win. You have to be in front of them. You have to stay in front of them, though, too. You have to stay in front. Most important factors for buyers. Yeah. Don't want to be lied to. Experience, reputation, friend or family member. I was surprised by active in the community at 1%. That surprised me. This did not. You know, I have 3 designations. I have a Graduate Realtor Institute. I have Certified Real Estate Specialist, Residential Specialist, and I have Certified Real Estate Negotiator, something like that. They don't care. Nobody cares if I've got those letters after my name. People think a home is a good financial investment. Repeat business. So, buyer, repeats and referrals. Will you use your agent again? 74% say definitely. 16% say probably. You add that up, that's 90%. 90%. Most say, yeah, I'll use them again. Absolutely. I'm going to skip ahead. Wait, where'd it go? No. I shouldn't skip ahead. Methods, wait. Oh, I need to go back. So 90% say they would use their agent again. And here, look, use the agent previously. How many used their agent already previously? 12%. 90% said they would. 12% did. Whose fault is that? The agent's fault. Not staying in touch with their past client. Yeah. Just because you sold them the house doesn't mean they're going to use you to list it again. I'll tell you, very few things sting as much as watching the hot sheet and you see a new listing. You're like, I sold them that house. It just rips you out. It's awful. Don't let it happen to you. Unless you know that, I have had that happen though, where I'm like, oh, thank God they didn't call me. Okay.
My family uses it. They've used their same agent every time.
Yeah.
All my family.
Do they stay in touch with them?
No.
No?
They just call them up and they get ready to do something.
Oh my gosh.
They're
That's
just
awesome.
loyal that-
They're just loyal.
They're just loyal that way.
That's cool. You got to break your family's loyalty now.
I know.
Where were we? Method sellers use to find their agent. Still, they used them previously, or they were referred from a friend or neighbor. Actually, this number here, this 24, is out of the 90. Because a buyer, if you ask a buyer, are you going to use your agent again? And they say yes, they become a seller, not a buyer. So it's 90% down to 24%, not 90 down to 12. But still, that's not awesome. Did you find your agent on a website? Interestingly, no. It's higher for buyers. Visited an open house? Usually not. If you add this 39 and 24% together, you get what? 50, 63. 2/3 from a family, that's sphere or past client.
Or just word of mouth, you could say too. I mean, word of mouth is
Yeah.
huge.
Well, that's referred from a friend.
Mhm.
Yeah. You go back down to newspaper? No, nobody opens up the newspaper and says, I want that guy.
Do you think social media, I mean, 4% is website, but do you think social media in general, like adding in Facebook, will skew that in the future? Or what's other down there at 12%?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Might be social media. Might be. Didn't show up in 2005.
It's a shopping cart.
I wish they would have said the shopping carts. That other is shopping carts.
It's on the shopping cart at Sea Market.
I wish they would have said in the survey.
Yeah.
Okay, sellers, even higher rates for hiring the first person. Because remember, they probably already know them. It's probably the person that sold them the house is in that mix too. What sellers want most from their agent? Help marketing the home, finding buyers, selling the home in a specific time frame, pricing it, helping find a buyer. These all seem kind of muddled together to me. No surprises in there though. Help with the paperwork, low down on the list though.
That's because they don't know how much work it is.
That could be true.
They don't realize.
They don't
what's
realize it.
involved.
Mm-hmm. Most important factors for sellers: reputation, honesty, trustworthiness, knowledge of the neighborhood. It was important that they were a friend or a family member. That's a real thing. Work your sphere.
Mhm.
Agent seems 100% accessible because of the use of technology like a tablet or a smartphone. Less. People don't care that you have a smartphone as much as you think, I
wonder
guess.
what age group they were talking to here. If they're talking about, because if they're talking about the age group that is, what did we say, 30 to, what was it, 30 to 65 for the people who are buying homes?
Yeah.
So,
Do they care that you have a smartphone? That could be because of their age. It could be because, well, of
Everybody
course they've
has
got a
it.
smartphone. How, why wouldn't, how do you, have you gone out and tried to buy a not smartphone? It's not easy. I've done it in the past year for my kid. It's not easy. What's that look? I don't want him having a smartphone. No. Yeah, right. I mean, it's an interesting one. Compensation negotiations. Okay, this one is money in the bank for you. Okay? Real estate agents initiated discussion of compensation. 47% of the time. Real estate initiated the compensation conversation. Client brought up the topic, and the real estate agent was able and willing to negotiate their commission rate. Only 1 in 5. The client brought it up. Client brought up the topic, and the real estate agent was not willing or able to negotiate their commission. 6%. If the client brings it up, that means most of the time they're going to want it, and you're likely to give a little discount if they bring it up. Client did know the commission and fees could be negotiated, but did not bring up the topic. Right? Client did not know the commission and fees could be negotiated. These are the clients that you want to have. Right there. Didn't know the fee could be negotiated. So, let's see, 47, 68, 74, 85. Yeah, that's 100%. It's 100%. We bring it up. We bring up a discussion about it. If you go through Section 7 of the contract, like, this is just what's in here, this is how it is, and move on to Section 8, very often they'll move with you. If the conversation does come up, explain to them how your commission gets hacked up by the co-op, giving half of it. I don't even get it. Half of it goes to the other side. Well, and yeah, I got it, my split and this and that and the other, and I'm left with this much in the end. Oh, you poor thing. Maybe we should do 7. 20%. Special rate for you today. Are you willing to negotiate your fee? Yeah. Yeah, I'd do 7.
you're working too.
Okay, compensation negotiations. Here we go again. We've got real estate agent initiated discussion. We just did this slide. Okay, seller repeats and referrals. 86% use again, say they would use again. A little less than the buyer, but still pretty good numbers. Pretty good numbers. Why do you think it might be less than on the buyer? Those buyers love us. We just got them into a house. We just helped them out. And in their perception, they didn't pay us. The sellers, I don't know. I paid 20 grand. Did I really get 20 grand's worth of service? If they ask that question, you need to step it up. Method used to sell a home. Sold home using an agent or a broker. 91%. Up from 83 in 2003. You'd think the internet would make it easier to be a for sale by owner, don't you?
That's because we're getting more control over that market.
For sale by owner, down from 14% to 7%. 7% sold for sale by owner. That means if there's a for sale by owner sign, they probably they're gonna list.
Yeah, they get desperate.
Yeah. the numbers are like 1 in 5 sell, 1 in 5 FSBOs sell as a FSBO.
Yeah, I've seen a few where I drove by and said for sale by owner, and you drive by again, and
It's got a different sign in the
Sorry.
yard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just on my daughter's street.
should be your sign.
Shame on me, I was gonna go call one and then I went back and I was like, I only waited 2 days.
Also, guys, it takes 4 or 5 times, 4 or 5 contacts with a FSBO for them to decide to list with you. So just because you made a contact, don't think that it's over. Let's see, incentives offered to attract buyers, none, mostly none. Home warranties were offered, assistance with closing costs offered, credit towards remodeling offered. The reason those are all, this is about offered. We have closing costs, those are incentives in a contract. We can do a carpet allowance in a contract, but we don't advertise that typically. If I see a house that's $300,000 and they're offering a $10,000 carpet allowance, you know what I think? Oh, they want $290 for their house, right? They're automatically off the top offering, hey, we'll give you 10 grand. So, you know, they want a net $290. Hey, we made it to the end.
I have a correction.
Should I stop the thing? Oh, you have a correction?
I have a correction.
Okay, which
Well,
slide?
this is a
Which
different-
slide?
Wealth of the world versus the poverty.
Gotcha. I'll go back
You know,
to
where
it.
I went back to the.
Oh, a correction in what you said.
Yes, correction in what I said.
I gotcha.
So this is from Forbes, and this is a little different from the Bloomberg report.
Hmm.
Forbes, it says, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, the richest person in the world, has a net worth of $75 billion. His net worth is greater than the GDP of 122 countries. That's not.
That number is a bit of a fallacy though, because GDP
Yeah,
is a per year, it's a rate, not
yeah.
a total. That's a weird number.
There's all kinds of stuff on this, but I emailed this to you, Travis, because.
Oh, thanks. I'll read
it
it
also
tonight.
discusses the number of world billionaires.
Oh, that's an interesting one, and most of them aren't in America. Hey,
Actually, they are,
Facebook, I'm going to close this down. Bye. Oh, are they?
yes.
I was thinking they were in